Welcome to our channel today. We're diving headfirst into some seriously wild stuff, the world of forbidden books. These aren't your grandma's bedtime stories. These texts have been hidden, banned, and practically erased from history. Why? Because they challenge everything we think we know about our past, our beliefs, and even our origins. We're talking about ancient texts filled with bizarre creatures, advanced technology, and knowledge that seems way ahead of its time. Did these ideas come from some lost civilization? Or maybe something else? We're gonna dig into that. I've got my thinking cap on, and trust me, you're gonna want yours too. We'll be looking at the scientific evidence, the historical context, and the mind-blowing theories surrounding these books. Buckle up, because things are about to get seriously weird. And don't forget to leave your comments below about topics you're interested in and want us to make videos about. Let's kick things off with a book that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about biblical history, the Book of Enoch. This bad boy was excluded from the Bible, and for a long time it was crazy hard to find a copy. But man, am I glad people dug it up. This book is pure insanity in the best way possible. So Enoch, he was this prophet, right? Like the great-grandfather of Noah, the dude with the ark. And Enoch, he had these visions, these crazy, vivid experiences that sent him straight to the other realms. We're talking angels, demons, the whole 9 yards. But here's where it gets really interesting. Enoch describes these beings called the Watchers. These weren't your typical angels, man. These guys were like the rebels of the heavens who decided to break all the rules and come down to earth. And what did they do when they got here? They started messing around with human women. And I'm not talking about a little flirting. This is where the Nephilim come in. These weren't your average kids. We're talking giants, man. Huge, monstrous creatures that wreaked havoc on the earth. It's like something straight out of a Greek myth. But Enoch lays it all out there, clear as day. Now here's where my mind really starts to melt. Some people believe the Watchers were actually extraterrestrials, and the Nephilim? Hybrid beings, a mix of alien DNA and human DNA. I know, it sounds completely nuts, but think about it. Ancient cultures all over the world have stories about gods descending from the sky, right? Could those gods have been the Watchers? And could these ancient astronaut theories actually have some basis in truth? It's like, what if these ancient texts aren't just mythology or religious allegory? What if they're actually historical accounts of something truly mind-blowing that we're just now starting to understand? The Book of Enoch opens up a whole can of worms, man. It makes you question everything. All right, let's move on to a book that's as physically imposing as it is mysterious. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible. This thing is massive, folks. I'm talking 3 feet tall, almost a foot thick, and weighing in at over 160 pounds. It's the biggest surviving medieval manuscript in the world, and it's full of strange and unsettling stuff. The Codex Gigas contains the entire Latin Bible, which is impressive enough on its own, but it also includes a bunch of other texts like medical treatises, magical formulas, even a list of all the monks in the monastery where it was created. It's like a medieval Wikipedia, but way more metal. And speaking of metal, the book gets its nickname from the full-page illustration of the devil that's inside. It's this huge, terrifying image, and it's one of the most iconic parts of the book. Nobody knows why it's there or what it means, but it definitely adds to the whole creepy vibe. But here's the thing that really blows my mind about the Codex Gigas. The medical knowledge in this book is surprisingly advanced. I'm talking about detailed descriptions of surgical procedures, herbal remedies, and even what sounds a lot like early forms of psychotherapy. Now, keep in mind, this book was written in the 13th century. This was a time when most people thought diseases were caused by evil spirits or bad air. Yet here we have the Codex Gigas, laying out medical practices that seem way ahead of their time. It makes you wonder, where did this knowledge come from? Some people think the monks who created the Codex Gigas had access to lost Roman or even Greek medical texts. Others believe that the knowledge was passed down through secret societies or even, dare I say it, extraterrestrial sources. I mean, think about it. How else do you explain the advanced medical knowledge, the giant illustration of the devil, and the sheer size and scope of this book? It's like it was created by a team of scribes working around the clock, possessed by some kind of supernatural energy. Get ready to have your mind melted, because we're about to dive into one of the most baffling mysteries in the world, the Voynich Manuscript. This book is like something straight out of Indiana Jones, full of cryptic symbols, bizarre illustrations, and a language that nobody can decipher. It's named after Wilfrid Voynich, a Polish book dealer who stumbled upon it back in 1912. And ever since then, this book has been driving scholars and code breakers absolutely bonkers. Seriously, people have dedicated their entire lives to cracking this code, and no one has come close. So, what's inside this mysterious manuscript? Well, it's full of strange diagrams and illustrations. We're talking plants that look like they're from another planet, astronomical charts that make no sense, and anatomical drawings that are both beautiful and unsettling. Some people think it's a medieval textbook on herbalism, alchemy, or even astrology. But the problem is, the language is like nothing anyone has ever seen before. It's not Latin, it's not Greek, it's not any known language on Earth, which leads us to the really juicy theories. Some folks believe the Voynich Manuscript is written in a coded language, maybe created by a secret society or even aliens. I mean, think about it. What better way to hide secret knowledge than to write it in a language that nobody can understand? Of course, there are also the skeptics who think the whole thing is a hoax. They say it's just a bunch of gibberish designed to trick people into thinking it's something special. But here's the thing. The level of detail and complexity in the Voynich Manuscript is insane. To create something like this just to mess with people, that would take a serious amount of time and effort. The Voynich Manuscript is a total enigma. It's a puzzle that's been taunting us for centuries. And it's a perfect example of how these forbidden books can make us question everything we thought we knew about history, language, and maybe even our place in the universe. Hold on to your hats because we're about to jump into a time machine and head back to the origins of Christianity with the Dead Sea Scrolls. These ancient texts were discovered in caves near the Dead Sea back in the 1940s, and they've been shaking up the world of biblical scholarship ever since. See, for centuries, our understanding of early Christianity was based primarily on the Bible as we know it. But the Dead Sea Scrolls, they contain earlier versions of biblical texts, as well as other writings that didn't make the cut for the official canon. What's fascinating is that these scrolls paint a much more diverse and complex picture of early Christianity than we ever imagined. They reveal the existence of different sects and interpretations of Jesus' teachings. It wasn't just one monolithic belief system. There were all these different groups with their own ideas about how to follow Jesus' message. For example, the scrolls tell us about the Essenes, a Jewish sect that lived a communal lifestyle in the desert. Some scholars believe that John the Baptist, who baptized Jesus, may have been an Essene. The scrolls also mention a figure called the Teacher of Righteousness, who some believe was an early Christian leader who was persecuted for his beliefs. These scrolls suggest that the early Christian movement was a hotbed of different ideas and interpretations. It wasn't until centuries later that the Church, as we know it, solidified its doctrines and decided which texts would be considered part of the Bible. The Dead Sea Scrolls are like a missing link in our understanding of early Christianity. They challenge the traditional narrative and show us that the story of Jesus and his followers is far more complicated and fascinating than we ever realized. All right, buckle up, because we're about to venture into some truly controversial territory with the Talmud Gem Manual. This book claims to be the original gospel of Jesus, dictated by Jesus himself to a young scribe named Judas Iscariot. Yes, that Judas Iscariot. Now, I know what you're thinking, this has got to be a hoax, right? And to be honest, a lot of scholars and historians agree with you. The Talmud Gem Manual has been widely dismissed as a modern forgery, lacking any real historical or archaeological evidence. But here's the thing that makes this book so intriguing. Even if it is a hoax, it presents a radically different narrative of Jesus' life, one that includes elements of extraterrestrial contact and advanced technology. According to the Talmud Gem Manual, Jesus wasn't born in Bethlehem. Nope, he was born in a spaceship. And his teachings? Well, they weren't just about love and forgiveness. They were about humanity's place in the cosmos and the existence of extraterrestrial beings. I know, it sounds completely bonkers. But there are some people who believe that the Talmud Gem Manual, even if it's not a genuine historical document, might contain fragments of truth hidden within its more outlandish claims. Could there be some historical basis for the idea of Jesus traveling beyond the regions mentioned in the Bible? What if he did encounter other cultures and learn from their wisdom? And could those encounters have influenced his teachings in ways that we're only beginning to understand? Look, I'm not saying I believe everything in the Talmud Gem Manual, but I do think it's important to keep an open mind and consider all possibilities. After all, some of the most groundbreaking discoveries in history were once considered crazy ideas. Man, what a wild ride, right? We've journeyed through forbidden texts, explored ancient mysteries, and encountered some truly mind-blowing ideas. From angels and giants to alien languages and extraterrestrial Jesuses, these books have challenged our understanding of history, religion, and what it means to be human. The thing about forbidden knowledge is that it forces us to confront the unknown, to question our assumptions, and to expand our perception of reality. These books, whether they contain actual historical truths or not, remind us that there's still so much we don't know about our past, our present, and the vast universe we inhabit. So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never be afraid to challenge the official narrative. You never know what incredible discoveries might be waiting just beyond the edge of the map. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Stay curious. If you find this video interesting, please press the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel.